these are just a couple of examples, actually 3 examples of holding a guy and then working into a submission. It's an art in and of itself. And our ultimate goal is not just to hold him for time, we want to hold him for time and then we want to submit him.
Right.
So there we go.
Right.
You know, again, whether it's like in sambo or freestyle judo, you hold a guy, you get your 4 points for your 20-second submission. The referee will say, okay, go for your submission, okay? Or you're in a submission grappling tournament, you're sticking a guy, you can't win by a pin, but you can get by a tap out. Stick him first, it's a good transition to get him there, and then we make him tap out. A couple of examples, I know a lot of you guys have ones you like to do, just a couple examples. Often you'll find from a north-south position, Kamishi Gatami type thing, you can work a nice arm lock, choke, something like that. We were at the Freestyle Judo Nationals, the guy from Croatia, he choked a guy cold from a north-south Kamishi Ho, did a beautiful lapel choke, and the guy put him to sleep. The guy didn't have time to tap out. It was a really good move. So it's very clever. So let's demo here. First one, north-south, you want to do, what are you going to do, Udagrami?
Yeah.
Okay, so north-south, Kamishi Ho Gatami, upper 4 corner hole. Derek's got this. Go ahead and talk it through, Derek. You've got a good one.
So both hands go underneath the shoulders and then grip the belt and suck him in tight. Okay, when you get him there, you pinch his head with your knees so that it's harder for him to bridge out of it. Okay, now I'm controlling both his shoulders as well as his hips.
So he's got a good north-south. We know that. He's winning. We want that. That's a good thing. Okay. And Dre's doing a good job acting. And then he's Academy Award for the guy. All right.
Okay, so from here, I'm going to pick which way I want to go. I'm going to go this way. So I start squeezing that a little bit with my shoulder, and then I let go of the far side and hug both arms, or both arms around his arm, okay? I haven't changed my other grip yet, okay? It's still there. I just hug both and pin it down. And then from there, once I'm sure I've got it, I let go and just bring my hand up to his wrist. As soon as I have the wrist, I get my own wrist, and then I just try and paint his knuckles across the mat. And if you're doing it right, you shouldn't have to go very far because I've already got his head pinned, okay? So one more time.
That really traps him by pinning his head. It keeps him from arching too much, too.
Suck him in tight, pin his head, okay? Go down and pin his arm in between your forearm and your shoulder, close to the mat as you can get it. Let go of the far side, hug this arm, come up and get his wrist, grab my wrist, and then just paint across the mat, okay? I should be able to hold him from here too. If I don't have it and he starts moving around again, I can still pin him from here, okay? And if I have to, I just get his head again, squeeze it, and there you go.
Now that's one example. Another one is like a kesa, head and arm, scarf hold, kesa gatami, into, which arm lock you want to work on?
I'm going to go bent, I'll show bent and straight.
Okay, so here's a classic example. He's sticking him with a good kesa gatami. Right. This is why, notice the right hand, this is why we don't go around it, we trap it like this. Right. So we can manipulate that, and he can't bridge and roll, he can't grab. See, Dre's unable to grab, and he can control that arm much better. Right. And our ultimate goal is not just to hold him for time, we want to hold him for time, and then we want to submit him.
Right.
So there we go.
Right, okay, so if you're comfortable pinning from kesa, just do your normal kesa. I like to grab behind my knee and really squeeze his head. It makes it harder for him to bridge and roll out. I've already got his arm in front of me so that he can't reach around back, and I just isolate that wrist and push down. And as soon as it's anywhere close to that leg, the leg comes up and traps. Okay, I'm being nice now because this is pretty tight on Dre, but it should be down here, and then you just raise your hips a little bit, okay? Super nasty choke, or sorry, arm lock, especially if I've got his head really gripped tight, okay? There you go. Some guys you see will do this and then they'll try and do this. The problem with that is I'm giving away my base and he can still roll and get out. So keep that there, pop that in, raise your hips.
The only thing, if you do want to make it nastier, guys, you don't want to lose your base. He's totally right on this, you newer guys. And when he's got this bent arm lock going, if he wants to make it a little nasty, go ahead and set him up, be nice. But see this hand? He can just push on that and crank it even nastier. And that, so instead of giving up your base, if you really want to bend that elbow nasty, that makes it work too.
Yeah.
Okay? Small things make big things happen. There you go, small thing right there.
And worst case scenario, if you really aren't comfortable with this, dig an underhook on his far side. He can't get your back from here, and it makes it really hard for him to either shrimp or buck you off. And I can still pin him and finish from here. Okay? So one of those two, either one is good. Okay?
We good?
And then
those are two examples.
straight.
Anything else? You good?
We're just gonna do straight.
Straight, go straight.
Okay, so the way to get out of this, he straightens his arm for you. So usually I go for the bent first, and then he's gonna help me out and straighten it right there. And from there, if I'm smart, I still have his wrist, and I can just put my shin on it, right? Or foot, okay? Or I can trap it like this, and then just try and squeeze my knees together. So whichever way is more comfortable. Big guy, you're probably gonna just use your shin, okay? Because that's really simple, okay? Littler guys that are really flexible, this is probably the most pressure you're gonna be able to put on it because you can really step down on it.
A lot of guys just loop it over though, really.
Yeah.
Just like that, and trap.
Yeah. Make sure though when you do this, don't just loop it like that. Bring it back and squeeze his wrist, okay? Because that's making sure it's hard for him to wiggle his arm around, and then I just have to move my knees together, okay?
And notice the hip position. He's kept his hips correctly aligned and working and riding. You know, pin is basically a ride. You know, he just happened to be on his back, and you really got him stuck. So these are just a couple of examples, actually 3 examples of holding a guy and then working into a submission. It's an art in and of itself, and not enough people practice it. So let's work on sticking him, and then say, okay, then I'm going to transition to my submission. And we didn't do a choke. You could do a choke. You can do a leg lock. You know, whatever sport you're in, work it in. Okay.